Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of the C&C Connection Podcast. The C&C Connection, I am Christian. The other C is Chris. And our guest today is his friend, Sonya. Sonya, I apologize. Sonya, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. You guys doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Sweet. Congrats on the podcast.
Well, thank you very much. And congrats to you for being guest number 1.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much I wanted to do this because, just a free form kind of thing and, get names out there and all that stuff. And, as I recall, tell stories and talk about a bunch of bullshit that might be.
Yeah. Hello?
Sorry about that. Apparently I jumped off the call.
Oh, no worries, man.
But
Where
yeah,
we
talk
go?
about just shoot the shit pretty much.
Yeah.
And practical jokers.
well, yeah, we could. To a little background, I am a musician in the Virginia area. I've been on the scene, unfortunately, for a very long time. Just started getting noticed through busking, not through any bands I played in. That's a different story. I got stories for days on that, if I can remember them.
I got stories for days, too, so.
I got stories for days about these 4 projects that never got off the ground, but I'm a musician, too.
See, I'm not a musician. I react to music. That's the most I do with music.
I was Christian that likes hip hop.
I love hip hop. But if you guys want to hear a funny story, I'm not proud of this. I failed 6th grade choir.
What?
Yeah. Okay, funny you ask. So it was one day we had choir practice after school because we were about to do a choir concert. And so I told my mom that. She's like, okay, sounds good. I'll pick you up at 4:30, right? Well, 4:30 rolls around, and I raise my hands. Teacher calls on me, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. Her name is Mrs. Hohensee. And I'm like, I got to go because my mom's picking me up, and we're kind of in a hurry, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, no, you got to stay here till 5. I'm like, I can't. My mom's here to pick me up, and I gotta go. We're in a hurry. And she's like, I don't care what your mother's here for. I'm in charge, and I'm telling you, you're staying here till 5. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay. So I go back in line, and my sister comes in about 5 minutes later. I have an older sister, Sonya, just so you know, and
that's fine.
Yeah, she came in, and she's like, yeah, my mom told my brother that she had to that she would pick him up at 4:30. But we got something we got to go to. We're in a hurry, so I'm just going to grab him. We're just going to go. And the teacher was like, no. He's staying here till 5. Now you need to get out. And my sister is like the sweetest girl in the world until you make her mad, and then all bets are off.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, because she's like, no. And she told this to my teacher. She's like, no. My mom told my brother 4:30. It's now 4:35. I'm leaving, and I'm taking my brother with me. She grabbed my arm, and we walked out of the rehearsal. And then she says, oh, stay here. Stay in the hall for a second. I'll be right back. And she goes right back into the thing and goes back into the room. And she tells the teacher, oh, and we're taking Megan and Heather Herman home, too, because we know their mother personally. So we'll be taking Megan home, too, and grabbed Megan, and we took her home. And, yeah.
So, all right, this is my question.
What else?
Did she get did she get the sassy snap the fingers thing going? That ain't gonna happen today.
She didn't do the snap. She didn't do the snap the fingers thing. No, but she's like, no. She's got that look like, oh, word? You gonna talk to me like that? No. So yeah, it was one of those. Oh, you think you're the boss of me? Okay.
But no, you did.
Nah, right? Yeah. Oh no, you didn't. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well,
Ain't nobody got time for that. Just think of that meme on Facebook.
Exactly. My story behind something like that is I played like in music and done music all throughout school. Well, in 9th grade I signed up for a band. Well, in 8th grade band they had a bass and an amp. So I was like, cool, all right, so I get to 9th grade. Well, it's the marching band, and here in Hampton, the Hampton High football team was like the big shit for years. Like,
right.
So first day there, they asked us to introduce ourselves and stuff like that. And I introduced myself. I'm Chris. I have perfect pitch. So the teacher proceeds to play a note on the piano, which was a G. I named a G and walked out of class and didn't do music until like halfway through my 11th grade year after that. So I didn't even get off the ground. I was I'm not doing this.
Well,
fuck this shit.
If you want to hear something funny about me real quick, I told you I failed 6th grade choir, right? And I should have passed with flying colors because it's like not the most difficult class, right? In gym class, I was probably the worst student, right? I mean, I was the one walking the mile. I was the one giving like the most. I mean, I wasn't even half-assed, but my physical disabilities limited me to doing certain things. So I tried, but I mean, I couldn't do everything that everybody else was doing, and that class I probably should have failed, and they ended up passing me with flying colors. So
damn,
I got a D in PE because I was lazy and fat.
My thing with PE was like I just like did not care, and then to me I did dress out thing, and
God. The dress out. Oh,
you don't want to do it. I always got in trouble for not dressing out because I wouldn't bring my clothes. Eventually, I got a little more in high school, but
I did that too with the dress out thing. I never dressed out, but they never really got on my ass about it. They're like, oh, whatever. It's Christian.
Well, we had a teacher, and I guess I won't say names just for reasons, but he's called Skills. He would, whistle through the locker rooms. All the kids are in there. Everybody's going through puberty. So, this is a weird, really awkward time, for everybody in there. We had a teacher, like your PE teacher, would walk through there, whistle. He'd offer extra points if you showered. And, I don't think too many people took him up on the shower. Only a couple of weird kids. But yeah, that was my PE experience, pretty much. Just never dressing out.
Your teacher sounds very uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, he would like sing songs, and they was happy to be in that locker room with a bunch of 13, 14-year-olds, I guess.
Meanwhile, my PE teacher would make us line up in a row and say, "Give me 5," as if we were all going to join the United States military in, 10th grade? No, I liked my music class better. I got an A, and I got to do solo, so I'm good at that.
Okay, you guys ready to hear the story of the world's worst substitute teacher?
Yes.
Okay, so Sonya, I know you probably aren't aware of this. I have several special needs. I have cerebral palsy, partial deafness, among other things, and I have a crooked pinky that I just can't control. It's just the way that it looks. I wish I could control it, but I can't. And one day, we had a substitute teacher. This is my sophomore year of high school. And it was for like a science class. I can't remember which science one it was. Astrology or astronomy or something. Whatever.
Ooh, lucky. I wanted to take that.
Anyway. And so, the substitute, I had some friends in class and they were asking about my pinky because they just noticed it. And they were asking about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's just the way that it looks, man. I can't control it. They're like, does it hurt? They're asking questions or whatever. And everybody was cool. Nobody was making fun of me. Nobody was like, doing anything wrong. We're just chit-chatting. And the sub came up to me, and she's like, you need to stop that right now. And I'm like, stop what? She's like, you know what you're doing with that pinky, and you need to knock it off. I'm like, what am I doing with my pinky? She's like, you are purposely making it crooked. It is gross and it is distracting and you need to stop. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, lady. I can't control it, right? It's out of my control. And she's like, no, that's a straight up lie. I know you can't control it and you need to stop right now. And then she walked away. And 5 minutes later, she came up and she sees the pinky again. And she's like, I told you to stop it with your pinky. You didn't listen. So now guess what? Now I'm going to send you to the dean's office, which was like the principal.
And you went to private school too?
What?
Did you go to private school too?
No, I went to public school.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm like, wait, what? You're sending me to the dean's because my pinky is crooked. That was the reason why. That was the whole reasoning, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go to the dean's office, and the deans are like, what are you in here for now? Because I was in there quite a bit, so I was a bad kid. But I was in there quite a bit, and I'm like, oh, well, this time I'm not even doing anything wrong. It was just because of my pinky. And they're like, yeah, well, what were you doing with the pinky? I'm like, see how it's crooked? Yeah, okay, guess what? I can't control it. They're like, yeah, we know, so what? I'm like, okay, well, the substitute teacher in this class, she thought that I could control it. And she sent me down here because I didn't stop. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's the whole reason why I'm down here. Because that substitute thinks I can control this. And when I told her I couldn't, she didn't believe me. And she sent me down here. And they're like, okay, so here's the deal, Christian. You're not in any trouble whatsoever. So I'll tell you what, you can just hang out here in this office and play on your phone. Or better yet, just go to the cafeteria student center, hang out there. You're not in any trouble, but we're not going to send you back to that class. So I'm like, that works for me, right? And there was like 35 minutes left in the class. And I'm like, that's fine with me, whatever. And that same hour, in that very same hour, that substitute teacher was fired.
Yeah, I can imagine.
She was a bully.
Yeah.
That was a bit cuntish, for sure.
I'm like, really?
I just want to apologize, but I gotta hop off here because I gotta get up at 5 a.m. The axe is cracked down.
You are perfectly fine.
Yeah,
but hey, good job on your podcast.
No problem. Thank you for being the first guest.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And it was nice to meet you as well.
You guys have a good night. Thank you.
Well. All right, Chris. I guess it's just the two of us. The C&C.
Yeah, now it's the C&C.
Yes,
we were going to do a review, but to be quite honest, neither one of us felt like really watching the shit. So,
well, I saw
for a review.
We watched some clips on YouTube that we could discuss if you'd like. Did you watch the clips on YouTube?
I didn't.
No?
I was like, man, that's a lot of clippage, man. That's a lot of clippage.
I understand that. Well, I didn't watch NXT last night because I went to Red Lobster and had some beer and shrimp. So, I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't really review NXT. I saw clips from NXT. I like that group hit row. I like that group hit row.
Add my 2 cents to it, because I could pretty much figure out like what's going on usually with this stuff. What the hell's going on here? Somebody called me in the middle of a podcast.
It's probably just a bill collector.
Nobody important right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So I didn't really watch NXT last night, but from what I saw, from the clips I saw online, it looked like a decent show. It certainly looked better than Raw. I mean, Raw is just, oh god, it's dumpster fire.
You remember when they first went to 3 hours, and at first I was excited. It was it's they had a lot of stuff going on. It's 2012.
Yeah.
After about a month of it, I was just like, this is just too much.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just
out.
Yeah.
You know, how many long matches can you sit through? Because you know,
and how
sometimes wrestling think that if the match is longer, the match is good. Not necessarily.
Right, and the thing that bugs me is when they go through not one but 2 commercial breaks. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. That doesn't make the match any more epic, and I know that's why they're trying to do it, but it just doesn't.
Yeah, when they start and as soon as the bell rings, well, we gotta take a break. And, wait, what?
The match just started. And you can always tell when they're going to go to commercial, because one guy will do this big dive and they're like, oh, he's on fire, we'll be right back. Like, wait, what? He's on fire. Why are you going to commercial right when he's...
Yeah, there you go, exactly.
Hot.
Oh my God! You know, like no rest spot, because I can tell you from going to live events. Well, this is the weird thing. I don't know if you never went to a WCW event, but like I've been to Night Thunders, and I actually went to World War III, the first one. I was actually in the crowd for the first World War III pay-per-view.
Okay.
When Randy Savage won the title. Yeah. You're excited as a kid, because I was like 8 years old. I was 8 years old. And so I'm excited. I got Hulk Hogan live and Randy Savage win the title and all that shit. You look back on it, it's like, oh my God, that was the biggest clusterfuck of clusterfucks.
Right.
You know? And but the weird thing about WCW, when you went and seen their TVs, they counted it down. Like when they would come back to commercial.
Oh.
Like when they come back to the show, they would count it down. In which WWE doesn't do that.
No.
But like WCW, I guess because they're a TV company, would count it down like 5, 4, 3, blah blah, and whatnot.
Well,
so
I'll tell you, I've never been to a WCW event, but the coolest event that I ever got to go to, and it was cool for different reasons. It was cool to me because my friend, he owns a liquor store, and some of the vendors that he does business with, they gave him tickets to Monday Night Raw that was coming to Denver one night on Monday, and these tickets were not just any specific tickets. These tickets were like box seats. Right?
Oh, all right.
So we had the buffet, we had the open bar. It was all for us, right? So we got treated like kings that night. But also, this Raw was specifically special because me and Nader were there. Me and my friend, we were there the night that Bill Goldberg had returned to Monday Night Raw in 2016 after 12 years away.
Yeah, hey, that's pretty awesome.
And then they made it into the show with cruiserweights. Fuck you.
No, that's a popcorn fart.
Well, no, they did the cruiserweight match as the main event, and then they went to Goldberg. But still.
Okay, so they did do it right.
They did it that way, but still, it's like, come on, man. Like, you gotta... You're pretty cruiserweights...
I seen Goldberg during his original run in WCW, because when I went to the Nitros and Thunders, this was like 98. And it was pretty cool. I can't really remember much. I remember that the Thunder, they had a dark match after the show. And it was Raven and Goldberg, and they had a really good match. That's probably the only things I really remember from those WCW TVs, because I went to a couple of them, and really and truly, I mean, let's face it. You look back, people are like, "Oh man, that era was great." It was like, man, there's a lot of clusterfuck during that era of everything.
Yeah, people glorify people glorify a lot of the past wrestling moments and time frames and such. Like, to me, you're probably going to disagree with me, but to me, the Attitude Era was extremely overrated. Like, extremely.
Well, it was.
Okay.
Because like I watched it as it happened, and like there was a lot of cool stuff, and you stayed tuned Monday nights, but like I'm gonna be honest with you, when I look back on it, there was a lot of filler before you got to the picture. There was just a lot of filler.
Well, and not only that, but that was also. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You have Rock, Undertaker, Mankind, Steve Austin, and that was cool. You had a huge main event picture, but everything after that was kind of shit. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, that was cool, but also remember that you had Austin, Rock, and Taker, and Triple H, and Mankind. But think about how long you had Austin for in the Attitude Era. He was only hot in like 98 to 99, and then in 99 he got hurt and he went away, so his star fizzled out. And then Undertaker left in 99 for a while. So really your top stars in the WWE at that time were The Rock and Triple H and Kurt Angle later down the line. But people try to make Austin like he was a long-time world champion. No, he really wasn't. And he didn't really have that much of an impact. He had an impact, for sure, but he just didn't have that much.
Because I can say, like, 97 is where the best stuff for WWE. 97 is what set up the Attitude Era.
Oh, sure.
Like, from the beginning of 97, that's, to me, was probably WWF's best year was 97, because they're like watching that's when like Raw was must watch, because there was just so much stuff going on, because I guess the transition of everything, so much going on as it happened. I mean, one half of the years like first part of the year is New Generation, and then it starts going to the Attitude, and then you had these great matches, because I think people forget that Austin was able to wrestle like really good technical matches, and Bret Hart, to be honest, probably the star of that era in WWF 97, because that was his best stuff like that he's ever done in his career, and he was having great matches, and everything was just firing on all cylinders. What really would have been interesting would have been to see Brian Pillman be Austin's first opponent at WrestleMania, winning the title. That would have been good. But, what if?
Yeah, well, Austin also, don't forget that he got injured in 97. That was when he did that neck injury. And so he was a great wrestler up until that point, and then he had to sort of switch up his style.
Yeah, because he to watch the first half of 97, and then the second half, which the style suited them, and it didn't matter. Whenever you get like a star of that magnitude, like it doesn't matter. He could shit in the ring, and people would have been happy. It literally and honestly, he became bigger while he was injured up until he wrestled again, because he was just unpredictable to the point it was like, wow, man, I wonder what he's going to do this week. Oh shit, he summoned Sergeant Slaughter. Holy shit. He starts stunnering all the big people. Then of course he stunners Vince McMahon, and that was
And 96 was also such an important time, because Austin won the 96 King of the Ring, and then he cut that promo, the Austin 316. And I'm going to say this, without that Austin 316 promo, Austin doesn't become as big as he was. Because the next night on Raw, Austin 316 shirts and signs and everything were all over the building. So
but this is one thing that people forget about that, though. They didn't push him until Survivor Series of that year. Mm-hmm. So even though he won the King of the Ring and all that stuff, he was still literally doing nothing until Survivor Series. Then Bret Hart pretty much put him on the map in one night. Because it started with the Pillman thing and him doing the Pillmanizer gimmick, and then the next week with the Pillman has a gun. But they did nothing with him, and for after the King of the Ring, I mean, that SummerSlam, if you have the Steve Austin DVD, if you remember, one of the outtakes on the DVD is him versus Yokozuna in a dark match at SummerSlam.
Oh no!
So it was like, wow.
I'm sure that match went over like a fart in church.
It wasn't much of a match. Yokozuna broke the top rope. That was the end spot. Is he got up and he fell off the top rope, or it sagged or it broke, and Austin rolled him up and pinned him. It was probably a minute and a half. It was.
Oh, damn. Well, Chris, I hate to do this to you myself, brother, but I got to get off and go eat some dinner. So, I'll tell you what, we could pick up part 2 after I get done eating, if you'd like, and do this some more.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, then I guess this will be a to be continued episode, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be 2 parts this week to this podcast, mostly because next week I probably won't be on. So that being said, I'll speak to you in a few minutes, Chris.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Tally-ho.
Tally-ho.